Let's meet the Martyrs of La Florida. In this episode, we're going to meet Antonio Inija and the Apalachee Martyrs at Ayubale. In 1702, Colonel James Moore, the governor of South Carolina, led an invasion of Spanish Florida. While Moore failed to capture St. Augustine and had to withdraw in humiliation, he did manage to destroy the remaining Spanish missions to Wale and Mocama, a branch of the Timucua living in northeast Florida. His strategic failure infuriated the vehemently anti-Catholic Moore, and 2 years later, he returned to Florida with a vengeance. On the morning of January 25, 1704, Colonel Moore, along with 50 British soldiers and 1,500 Creeks, launched a surprise attack on the mission of La Concepcion de Ayubale in modern-day Jefferson County, east of Tallahassee. Later that day, several Apalachee managed to make it to Mission San Luis in order to get help. Many Apalachee, including Antonio, who was San Luis's Inija, second after chief, set out to Ayubale to try to help them. Antonio the Inija was a married man with children and a skilled carpenter, and was also a talented musician. He had been taught by the Franciscan friars and assisted them as a catechist and translator. He had great zeal for his Catholic faith, and his Christ-like joy brought many native persons to the Catholic faith. Along the way, they stopped at the mission of San Pedro and Pablo de Patale, very near to the future shrine of Our Lady, Queen of the Martyrs, to get even more Apalachee to try to help liberate the people of Ayubale. The Franciscan pastor of Patale, Father Juan de Parga, who had worked in the Florida missions for a decade, preached for 2 hours in the Apalachee tongue, encouraging them to be brave and steadfast in trying to help the people of Ayubale. He even recognized that they may die, but they would do so defending the holy law of God. Placing his firm belief in the promises of Christ, Father Parga said that this day would be a day of great rejoicing in heaven if they lost their lives defending their faith. Father Parga gave them all absolution and then told them that he was going to go with them. The Apalachee tried to convince Father Parga not to go because it was too dangerous, but he responded saying, "I must go and die with my children, as they will be offering their lives for the law of God in our land." Father Parga, Antonio Inija, and 2 other Apalachee leaders, Cui Domingo and Cuipa Feliciano, were also captured before they made it to the battle. Because he was a Catholic priest, Father Parga was immediately beheaded. Antonio and the 2 others were tied to the outdoor Stations of the Cross at Ayubale and mocked for their faith. They were tortured for many hours as fires were set burning at their feet, yet through it all, they remained amazing witnesses of the faith. From their crosses, the 3 encouraged the other captured Apalachee to remain faithful to their Catholic faith, as our fathers taught us. They proclaimed Jesus, and that they trusted that they would be with him. Near the end, Antonio saw a vision of Our Lady. He cried out from his cross that the Virgin had appeared to him at his side and exclaimed that it is by looking into her eyes that I have the courage to endure this suffering. Antonio's last words were, "My body will fall to the earth, but my soul is going to God." As the sun set, unable to speak, these 3 heroic Apalachee martyrs expired on holy crosses for their faith. No doubt there were many more valiant Apalachee witnesses of the faith, most of whom are not known to us. None of the 58 individuals included in this cause for canonization died as the result of fighting in battle, but rather were all targeted for their faith in some way. Antonio Inija and the Apalachee Martyrs of Ayubale, pray for us.